The Trump administration says it is ending a program that offered deportation protections for thousands of people from Afghanistan. According to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, those granted temporary protected status are allowed to obtain employment authorization, can get travel authorization, and are shielded from deportation if the U.S. deems their home countries too dangerous to go back to because of issues like war and natural disaster. As of last year, more than 8,000 Afghans were granted temporary protected status, according to the Congressional Research Service. For more, let's bring in CBS News Homeland Security and Justice correspondent Nicole Sganga. Nicole, good to see you. What happens when these protections end in July?
Yeah, Lindsay, these more than 8,000 individuals won't be shielded any longer from detention and deportation by the U.S. Now, there are some very real unknowns. For instance, there's no arrangement with Afghanistan or the Taliban for ICE deportation flights to land in Kabul. For that matter, the U.S. doesn't even have a full diplomatic presence in Afghanistan following the Taliban's takeover and that U.S. withdrawal in 2021. And as you point out, these thousands who fled Afghanistan will not only be subject to removal from the United States, they will also no longer be authorized to work here or travel freely. Some of them have been doing that for years.
So is the administration essentially arguing that it is safe to go back to Afghanistan with this move?
Yeah, that is the argument. And in a statement, the Homeland Security Secretary said, quote, Afghanistan has had an improved security situation and its stabling economy no longer prevents them from returning to their home country. But we should remind our viewers that Afghanistan remains under the rule of the Taliban, that the United Nations has repeatedly warned of that rule, its erasure of women from public life, and the growing mental health crisis it spurred, that under Taliban rule, girls are denied an education beyond the 6th grade, that women are denied access to parks, gyms, and public baths, which occasionally is the only way to get hot water in the winter, and that under that Taliban rule, women must be accompanied by a male guardian when traveling 50 miles or more from home. And that, Lindsay, between August 15th, 2021 and March 31st, 2024, the UN documented at least 1,033 instances where Taliban officers used violence to enforce their rules.
What does this mean for the thousands of Afghans who worked alongside U.S. service members during the war?
Well, we should note the Afghan TPS program is separate from the Special Immigrant Visa or SIV program. So those were issued to Afghans who worked alongside U.S. military during those 20 years. The program is specifically designed for the interpreters, the drivers, the other contractors who work directly with U.S. forces. Those Afghans with SIV will remain in the U.S. legally.
How does this fit into the administration's larger efforts to curb migrants from coming to the U.S.?
Yeah, well, advocates say that around the world, over 40,000 Afghans are still actively pursuing resettlement here in the U.S. We should note during Trump's first day in office, he issued an executive order pausing refugee applications and any travel plans, citing concerns about the U.S.'s ability to absorb large numbers of refugees. We don't know how long that suspension is going to last, Lindsay, but the order allows the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Homeland Security to admit refugees on a case-by-case basis. And we have seen one of those cases this week, actually, refugee status for Afrikaners, the white ethnic minority in South Africa that created the system of apartheid back in 1948. There were 49 Afrikaners that came to the U.S. on Monday that are descendants of the European colonizers who came to South Africa centuries ago. And decades after the end of apartheid, some say they're being denied jobs and have been targeted by violence because of their race. They were admitted again into the United States under the refugee program just yesterday.
Nicole Sganga, thank you.
Thank you.